Hello and welcome to Library Connection. I'm Mandy Cantrell, Youth Services Director at the B.B. Comer Memorial Library here in Sylacauga. Before I get started with the show, I want to thank TV47 and Robert, especially for all they do to help us put on this program to keep you up to date with what's going on in the community and things that relate to the library. Today, something that is important to all of us, I think, is digital citizenship. I have to stop when I say that. And Jason Jacks, Assistant Principal at Childersburg Middle School, is joining me today. Yes. The reason for this show, I read, we go to church together at First Baptist, and you're teaching a class on this same topic in July,
yes,
I believe.
Yes,
right.
We were able to, fortunate enough to go to a Fuge camp up in Tennessee, and they touched on a couple of things for us, and then you know, we kind of come back to the church, and I was talking with Evan about, you know, what can we do to inform our parents or let our parents get some type of knowledge of what are their students doing now? What are these kids doing? So we decided to put on this class. It's July 21st at 2 p.m. You know, everybody's invited, many people as we can fit in there.
Right.
We're going to discuss everything from social media to cyberbullying to how to track your students' phones, you know, everything you need to know.
Well, that is great. We certainly need to know that. I don't have children that age, but I do work with children at the library, with students at the library, and we have, I know we were talking earlier, we have public use computers, we have free Wi-Fi, we have hotspots available for checkout. So we are in that technology world too. And this subject was just fascinating to me, a little bit scary.
It is, yes, ma'am. It really
but
is.
really, I guess, before we get started in that, tell me about yourself.
All right. Well, my name is Jason Jacks. I'm Assistant Principal at Childersburg Middle School. I'm married to my high school sweetheart, Gina. We've been married for almost 15 years now. We have two sons. Atticus is 13. August is 2. We have to worry about more with the social media with the 13-year-old than the 2-year-old, thank goodness. But
oh, that's true.
I just can't imagine what technology is going to be when the 2-year-old gets older. You know what? It's moving so quickly and so fast that really you have to stay on top of everything or you get behind.
Right. Well, that's why I thought Jason will be the perfect one to do this, because you have a passion for that. You work with students, and you have you know, Atticus being older, but then August being young. So you want to know about this, and definitely I want to know too. Well, the first question is, what is digital citizenship?
Well, digital citizenship, the idea behind it is students who are basically being citizens online. Basically what it is, you think about a citizen here in your community, you're looking for someone who's honest, you're looking for someone who you know, is respectful, responsible, all these different things in a citizen itself. Well, you take that and you place that onto an identity that's online. Basically, we want students who are doing different types of research, who are different types of work, publicizing information from social media to you know, different outlets that we have to share the things properly and appropriately. Because it's so easy to place information out there that you know you don't necessarily think about until later on that will have a negative impact.
Right.
So,
hindsight is always 20/20.
Oh, yes, ma'am. That's true.
That's great. Well, I know when I looked it up after I talked with you about doing the program, I looked it up online, and digital citizenship, I guess that you can look at it two ways. It's how you act online, appropriate behavior, but it's also knowledge.
It is, yes, ma'am.
You know, what's fake news, what's real news.
Oh,
if
yes,
you're
ma'am.
researching all that into it too, so it's kind of a broad topic, I guess,
yes,
a lot
ma'am.
of different things. So, we're going to try and cover as much of that as we can.
Sounds good.
Well, why is it so important to be a good digital citizen?
Well, what students need to understand is, you know, the type of thing that you follow through with digital citizenship will follow you the rest of your life. It's called your digital footprint. I mean, these things that you post on social media, the different searches that you look up, the work that you promote, because I know in Talladega County we focus a lot on digital portfolios, and that's something that our students can put out there for potential employers later on. You know, I've heard of people going to job interviews and the person asking, well, can you pull up your Facebook page? Can you pull up your Instagram? Because they want to see what kind of person that they're hiring. Not only that, but college application, athletes. I can't tell you how many times I've heard of one recently. A child was committed to one of the bigger universities to play football. They canceled because they saw something on his Instagram that didn't show a positive face of himself. And universities want to know that who they're basically, I don't want to say employing, but who they're bringing to their school and allowing to attend is someone that is credible, someone that's going to put on a good face for their school and community.
Oh my goodness, that is scary. And I know when you're in 6th, 7th, 8th grade,
yes, ma'am.
That's not at the top of your head.
No,
You don't think
no.
about that.
No, ma'am.
But they should.
They should, because like I said, anything that's put out there, it doesn't go away. A lot of our students and our children think about, all these different apps that they use, like Snapchat that's only supposed to allow for 30 seconds. Well, somebody screenshots that. Or it never actually goes away. So anything that you say, do, your online person is always going to be there. You can't get rid of it. And that's something that unfortunately our kids need to think about before they post anything or share any work or information, especially about themselves, is that this will continuously be out there. It will not go away.
And I was looking at the slide, it's am I posting in anger? Am I revealing too much? Could someone misinterpret what I'm saying?
Oh, exactly.
That's
Yes,
all. Just sometimes you need to step back, take a breath, and think about it a minute.
Exactly. Anytime that I don't really post anything on social media except for the school,
Sure, yeah.
because the type of work that I'm in, I always have to put forth a positive attitude on and off the
Sure,
job,
yes.
because
Oh, yeah.
we're people of the community, but some of our students just they get angry, or different people get angry and they just throw something out there. I'd like for them to think about a 24-hour rule. If you get aggravated about something and you want to post it on social media about the community, the school your student attends, their teachers or whatever, think about that before you put that out there, because your influence upon your students and other people in the community is greater than they think. If you have a bad, let's say, consultation with a school administrator,
Sure.
Think about it and then come back to it and talk to them before you go and post anything on social media, because it can be devastating for the student, for the administration or the teacher, and that's something that schools are central to every community. I feel like
yes.
we are in the job of working with parents to raise children. We followed through the educational prospect of it. I mean, in the way technology is today, literally our kids have access to their teachers and administrators 24/7.
24 hours, that's right.
I get many emails, about, Coach, will you unblock this website so I can do this research? Well,
Sure.
then I have to look at the website and make sure it's appropriate,
Right.
and then
A little
to
more
do
work
those
than
things.
just
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes,
That's
ma'am.
great. Wow. Well, we're going to pause for a commercial break, and we'll come right back and talk a little bit more with Jason.
Hot under the collar because your basement is full of water? Call a local company you can trust. Ox Foundation Solutions. We use the most advanced water management system to stop water from invading your basement for good. Things feeling a little uneven at home? Ox Foundation Solutions will fix your uneven concrete sidewalk, driveway, or basement in no time. Ox Foundation Solutions has the best plan to keep your home safe. If you are experiencing any issues with your sidewalks, basement, crawl space, or foundation, get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
COOSA Valley Medical Center, one of the top 10 hospitals in Alabama, is also Silicaga's largest employer. Services from the emergency room to surgery to cancer treatment to post-stroke care. You won't believe what's right in your backyard. It's COOSA Valley Medical Center in Silicaga. So, if you're sick in Alabama, choose one of the top 10 hospitals in Alabama. That is COOSA Valley Medical Center.
Marble City Pharmacy in Silicaga is your destination for the highest quality health care. Our knowledgeable pharmacists are always available for questions about your medications or advice on taking over-the-counter products and supplements. Our friendly staff can assist you in choosing from our full lines of compression hose and medical equipment. And don't forget our gift department. We have a great selection of unique gifts for every occasion. Stop by and see us today. Marble City Pharmacy, here for life.
Welcome back to Library Connection. I'm talking with Jason Jacks. He is the assistant principal at Childersburg Middle School.
Yes,
we're talking about online safety, digital citizenship, and we talk a lot about the social use of technology, but it's used in schools a lot,
Yes,
in
ma'am.
education.
Yes, ma'am. your child today doesn't necessarily have a textbook any longer. We're really going to focus on how technology is properly used within the classroom. First, I want to brag on Childersburg Middle School just a little bit in Talladega County, because our Dr. Lacey, our superintendent, and Dr. Vicki Osmond are working towards getting all 17 of our schools STEM certified.
Okay.
Basically what that is science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. And it's through STEM, but we add the A into it, the art
STEM.
aspect. Yes, ma'am. But it's basically a corporation that comes out and they access what teachers are doing, what students are doing, and focusing on how are they working towards these projects. And I just want to give some examples of the Advanced Ed STEM certification.
Sure.
They have 11 indicators that you have to achieve, basically. 3 different categories. One is how are your students learning using technology and these different aspects of science, engineering, arts, math, all these things. How are your educators putting forth these things, and how are these projects going on? So I wanted to share a couple of the projects that our students have done.
That's great.
With the ability to be able to access the internet nowadays, I don't want to say that your students don't necessarily go to libraries for information, because we want them to understand that our library in our school is still booming because of all the fiction, nonfiction, and there are times when technology is not appropriate. You need to dig into a book.
There's room for all of it.
Plus, I love the smell of the books, but that's just me. But I wanted to share a couple of projects that our school has done using technology and help us achieve this STEM accreditation. The first thing, we used a Level Up Village program, which is our school purchased. And what it was is our students had the ability to connect with students from around the world and see some of the needs that they had. And one of them were access to electricity. So what our students did was they went in and they coded and they created these basically 3D printable light sources that our students could share in these other countries.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was awesome. So our kids come together, they used our 3D printers that the county had provided for us. Like I said, Dr. Lacey and Dr. Osmond, they really focused on that technology. And they printed these things out, and they were prototypes. But as I saw them, I was just like, wow. I mean, that is something. Our kids are, number one, they're being innovative. Number two, they're collaborating with each other and other people in different countries and seeing their needs. The second one that really hit home this year was our students started working to ensure that other countries had access to water. We're almost to our goal of being able to dig a well in a foreign country in Africa by the money that we raised. But our students created podcasts and all these different things to kind of promote that idea. And they started out, Miss Elliott, our English teacher, collaborated with everyone else in her grade level. Even our teachers are using digital citizenship like you wouldn't believe. And Ms. Gable kind of led it, and we focused on the opening thing was they had to carry a jug of water. They read a book, A Long Walk to Water. And then they had to basically understand the effects of it. And these kids were carrying gallon jugs of water with parents' permission, of course. And they really got into that book and really, I mean, it became a passion for a lot of our kids. So they created these different podcasts, and they sent them to NPR News, and some of them were selected to be used and to give people the information and knowledge that what other countries are facing. So I was really proud of that. And could you do that without access to technology? No. I remember awesome. We had pen pals back in the day, but that takes a little longer to get it across.
Right. That's great.
But these students weren't on a computer the whole time. Technology is important, but there is a time and a place for it. We like to say that the Chromebooks that our students use, they're a tool. They're not necessarily the end-all be-all. We want to make sure that our parents understand that too, and the community understands that those are things that's just another tool for us to use. And of course, there's appropriate ways to do that.
That is great, and using it to help people too.
Yes,
I mean, you didn't mention that, but I'm going, wow, that's awesome.
Our kids have just, they have a heart, and I know parents look at that, and middle schoolers, they're argumentative, they want to do all these things.
They're middle schoolers.
Yes, they're middle schoolers, but honestly, they have a heart. You just have to find what that is and not necessarily teach them about it, but facilitate their learning, guide them, help them focus, and show them, this is the information, this is how you gather it. Like you said, the proper ways to I mean, because you can go on the internet and create any type of website,
Yeah.
and if it looks legitimate, well, people are going to think it's legitimate.
Right.
I actually looked at a website about a Velcro farm one time. They grow Velcro. Yes, ma'am. And it looked legitimate, but let's use our common sense
Yes,
here.
no, that's not
That's
right.
something that's not, necessarily
That
true.
is great. Well, that's so neat. I'd love to hear more about what
Sure.
your kids are doing sometime with that.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Well, now we talk about technology is used in the classroom, in schools, education. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful tool. My girls, when they were in high school, were just getting into that, and
Yes,
they
ma'am.
were enjoying it. But how do we stay safe online?
Oh, well, that's
a whole big
big
topic,
deal.
I know.
Yes, ma'am. Well, your schools are using two different things, Go Guardian and Gaggle within Talladega County. I think Sylacauga City Schools are actually using it also. Just so parents understand what this is, Go Guardian is basically a system that follows through and watches what your students search for, their search engines, anything like that, and your administrators and your teachers have access to that.
Right.
Students oftentimes will be able to have the ability to take these Chromebooks home and things like
Sure.
that, but they still belong to the school. And plus, we want to safeguard them.
Oh, yes.
So we have those systems set up. And the second one is Gaggle. What Gaggle is another program that the county has paid for us that kind of finds what your students are hiding.
Okay.
All of Talladega County students have access to their Google Drive, unlimited access. They carry this on to college oftentimes, and they are able to store as much information in there as they want. Well, anything that's deemed inappropriate, which we set up the guidelines for
Yes.
that, I like to think of Gaggle like a worm that goes through all their files and find things.
Well, that's good.
Well, it helps us when it comes to finding information of students being bullied or students who are inappropriately using the internet, not being good digital citizens. Because we need to correct those behaviors.
Yeah.
Our kids going to do silly things and look up wrong things. Yes,
Yes,
they're
kids are kids.
Yeah, they're kids, but,
They are.
but we need to use it as a learning experience and not necessarily, just punish the kids for that fact.
Sure, it's a learning. And I know y'all teach a lot of this
We
at
do.
school.
We use Nearpod, a program that's digital citizenship, and our kids have to complete it before they get their computers. And I also like to recommend for parents, there's a free one that you can do with your students, and it's called Be Internet Awesome by Google.
The internet. Also.
Yes, ma'am. That is, you just Google that, and it has a whole program and a curriculum. Actually, Gable sent that to me last night because we were kind of looking. The schools have access to it because we pay for something. But, what about our parents? Well, we want our parents to get involved so they can see, all right, this is the expectation, because
Yes.
oftentimes they're setting the example for their students with things that
that's
they post on social media.
That's true. We all need to think about that.
Yes,
well,
ma'am.
we're going to pause for another commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Hot under the collar because your basement is full of water? Call a local company you can trust. Ox Foundation Solutions. We use the most advanced water management system to stop water from invading your basement for good. Things feeling a little uneven at home? Ox Foundation Solutions will fix your uneven concrete sidewalk, driveway, or basement in no time. Ox Foundation Solutions has the best plan to keep your home safe. If you are experiencing any issues with your sidewalks, basement, crawl space, or foundation, get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
COOSA Valley Medical Center, one of the top 10 hospitals in Alabama, is also Silicaga's largest employer. Services from the emergency room to surgery to cancer treatment to post-stroke care. You won't believe what's right in your backyard. It's COOSA Valley Medical Center in Sylacauga. So, if you're sick in Alabama, choose one of the top 10 hospitals in Alabama. That is COOSA Valley Medical Center.
Marble City Pharmacy in Sylacauga is your destination for the highest quality health care. Our knowledgeable pharmacists are always available for questions about your medications or advice on taking over-the-counter products and supplements. Our friendly staff can assist you in choosing from our full lines of compression hose and medical equipment. And don't forget our gift department. We have a great selection of unique gifts for every occasion. Stop by and see us today. Marble City Pharmacy, here for life.
Welcome back to Library Connection. I'm talking with Jason Jacks, the assistant principal at Childersburg Middle School. We're talking about digital citizenship. We've covered a lot. I know we want to be sure that the last thing we talked about is like an online class or
Yes,
something you could do with your kids. So parents need to definitely be aware of what their children are doing online.
Yes, ma'am. There's information out there that we found that 48% of parents believe that their student are completely honest with them about their activities online.
Right.
But then, studies also show that 71% of the students hide things that they're doing online.
Well, like we said, kids are kids.
They are.
We did it, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, well, I'm so happy that we didn't necessarily have the internet when I was growing up. That way, we didn't. It's so scary now because our children have access to absolutely anything.
Yes.
So I really, really want to recommend to parents. There's a way to guard these things. I mean, you're the parent. You go in, you take a look at an iPhone, for instance. You can go into the settings, you can set their timer, and when you go into the timer, it explains, you can basically decide what they can look at and what they can't look at.
Okay.
You use a 4-digit passcode, put it in there, and they don't know that 4-digit passcode. There's also other things out there that my wife uses, Life 360.
Yes, I've heard of that one.
Yeah, that way, I mean, literally, if our kid is riding with someone, we can see how fast he's going.
Wow.
There's also a search engine through Casper Spy that basically allows you to regulate what the child can look at through that app. So they won't go through, Google, or they won't go through, any type of internet connection except Casper Spy. And it really regulates it. And it allows you to control what your student and child is looking at.
That is great. Well, we hear a lot about cyberbullying. What is that exactly, cyberbullying?
Well, cyberbullying is a very big deal. And I do want to share, information. Bullying has become one of those really, hot button words. Yes, ma'am. I mean, we want to say bullying in every situation, but I do want to explain that bullying is the continuous physical or emotional abuse over a person in an extended period of time. Cyberbullying is exactly that. Is there something going on the internet? Is there something going on Facebook? Are kids texting all these different things, negative things about a student continuously? And if they are, you see the kind of effects of them: anger, isolation, depression, illness, and humiliation. Talk to your kids about this. What is going on? What are they seeing online? And parents, please understand that things like Facebook, you got to be 13 to 14 years old to use that. Don't make an account for a child that's younger.
Don't.
I mean, it's just not worth it. I mean, don't expose them so quickly to that, because they need to be a little bit older to understand how to appropriately use it. And even as parents, we need to use it appropriately to model for our students on what they need to do. But cyberbullying is one of those things that it does happen. The laws are kind of vague about it. I do want students to understand that if you're bullying using a Chromebook that is owned by the school system, well, that becomes a school issue. Whether you're at home with it or you're at school with it. Right. We do find out, and like I said, those 2 programs that we have, we know what you're doing. I mean, I have to surprise many kids with, hey, what are you looking at? Oh, nothing. And I pull up the website, and there it is.
I have proof, yes.
Yes, ma'am. And, some other things that we're seeing in the educational system, too, is, the inappropriate use of cell phones and students sending, let's say, inappropriate images, wording. Parents, just be aware of what your student's doing. And I really feel like if you will go through a program with your child about digital citizenship, keep a check on them. My son has a cell phone, but he turns it in every night. And we look through everything. And parents, make sure there's a couple of different types of apps and things that students will use to hide information. One of them is called Calculator. And what that is you see it on the middle of your screen right there, calculator percentage. That's basically a vault that the kids can hide photos in, and they can hide pictures, music, all these different things that may be inappropriate. And these are just a couple of things that we're going to be talking about at the church on the 21st. We're going to be in a lot more detail about, what these apps do, how they can, be negative for your student.
Yes.
And like I told you, you can go into the photos of a student and look up their deleted history. It's down at the bottom.
Okay.
Just make sure that you're aware of that and you're following through with that. And sorry to all you kids out there, but understand your parents are just trying to protect you. We want you to be safe. The type of information that you put out there, the digital footprint that you leave, from photos to information to, there's a lot of things you just don't need to put on the internet. Social security numbers, date of birth. It kind of, I don't understand. I see a lot of these people who will, they'll check in at a spot, like on vacation. That's like telling everybody in the world that you're not at home to come to your house. That's not good.
Yes, no, that's true. That's
and
true.
you definitely don't want your child doing that when, there are people out in the world, unfortunately, who
Looking for that.
Yes, ma'am. They do. It is. Our children don't understand it, but as adults, we understand there's evil in the world, and we want to protect them at any cost.
And it's not that you don't trust your kids; it's you're trying to teach them. They're young,
Exactly.
still trying to
Exactly.
learn. They don't know that a lot of these things are against the law. I mean, we talked a little bit about that you can.
Yes, ma'am. I do want people to be aware. There are laws, and if you follow the news quite a bit, we see that there's a lot of this texting of inappropriate images.
Yes.
Students and parents, you need to be aware that falls underneath felonies. That becomes a law situation and a legal battle. And what we're seeing is a lot of young ladies sending images that may be inappropriate to friends, and then they're being shared and moved around. Well, all that falls underneath, a felony clause. Basically, you don't want your student to be, because then that's going to be on their record for the rest of their lives. Guys, be good digital citizens. Leave a positive footprint. And if you need examples of that, Suze, you got digital learning specialists at all your schools. Go talk to them. Let them know. And I would suggest anyone who's being cyberbullied, who may have made a mistake and posted something inappropriate.
Sure.
Talk to your parents about it. Talk to the people at school that you trust. Like I said, we're parents and community, teachers, educators, we're all in this together to help our kids. We're not trying to harm them.
Absolutely.
We're not trying to spy on them, let them know. We know what you're doing, but before technology, before you could hide behind this facade, people already knew. But now that people can kind of hide behind a screen and they don't really know who you are, you create these fake accounts and bully somebody or pick on somebody or send these inappropriate things. It's unfortunately, technology is a double-bladed sword. It gives you access to the world, but then it also gives you access to the world.
Appropriate use is
Yes,
great.
ma'am.
Gosh, I just appreciate you being here so much. We've
Yes,
got just a
ma'am.
few seconds left, but I wanted to be sure and invite you all to, it's at First Baptist Church
Yes,
on
ma'am.
July 21st at 2 o'clock. It's open for anyone. Digital citizenship training, and we're going to cover a lot more than we covered here today.
Yes, ma'am.
This is for parents.
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
It's going to be for parents, and we're going to get more in depth about different apps that the students may be using, the effects of these apps, ways that you can help, monitor your child's phone. Like it shows up there, there's 14 different apps. There's a ton of different ones that we just want parents to be aware of and show parents how students are hiding information on their cell phones. We're going to help you.
Great. Well, I hope you can join us then, and thank you for joining us on Library Connection. Thank you, Jason, for being
It's my pleasure,
here.
ma'am. Thank you very much.